Welcome back to another edition of the Gabagools podcast, episode I think 24 now, the Kobe Bryant episode here. Um, I'm your host Jeff, as always, and with me today is the Cuzzo Dan. How we feeling?
Feeling alive, feeling bright, feeling a little blue, feeling like it was a tracksuit Monday kind of day. Checking the fit, feeling good, feeling good. Sometimes you got to put on something, and you're just like, you know what, I feel good today. I get what the girls, women, I get the whole thing now. You put something good on, and you're like, oh, hey, I'm a new man, I'm a new woman. You know what I mean?
You look good, you feel good, right?
So that's what you got to say. I guess kicking it off as we usually do with the sunny, beautiful. Well, I guess it's slightly cloudy over here right now at the moment. ATM, as we cool kids like to say when we're texting, but not bad out there. Got the pooch out for a W as we normally do on Mondays, and I got two little things for you before we start. So
Oh, well, here we go.
before, yeah, here we go. Number one, I don't know. When you take a shower, I don't know if you're a hot shower, cold shower, or if you're one of those guys who's kind of a tweener. What do you?
I actually, oddly enough, I alternate. So I do hot showers sometimes, but I will dabble in the cold shower realm.
And we're talking cold, not just like
Oh
cool.
yeah, no ice cold, like as cold as I can put it without the water coming out. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm normally in the warm to fairly hot range. And let me tell you something. We were kind of short on time. I wanted to make sure I just got in. If you turn the water on, I'm usually someone who likes to let it, get hot for
Yeah.
like a minute. I
Yeah.
just turned it on and within about 5 seconds just jumped in there. Woo! I mean, I think the neighbors could hear me screaming. It was it's like a cold plunge in there when that water is
you,
first coming
you
out.
you know it's nice though. It's actually a nice feeling because it kind of wakes you up, like you just said. And it's just like there's actually a lot of benefits to like either the cold plunge or like stuff like that. So yeah, I don't want to go into that because I don't have my details on exactly what's good for you. I just know it's like a good detox. But yeah,
Got the heart racing this morning, and I got a quick workout in. But then I'll tell you, my heart was not racing faster than when I got in the shower really quick. I mean, it was nuts.
that's hilarious.
And number two for you, I don't know if these are brand spanking new. I know they're new-ish. I know you're an Oreo guy. I know
Yeah.
everybody's an Oreo guy.
Yeah.
Have you tried the Star Wars Oreos?
No, but it's really funny you brought that up because this past weekend I was in the Dells with my entire family, and somebody mentioned them, and I was like, they're all just Oreos or whatever. They're like, no, they actually taste a little bit different. So I'm like, I have to try these, but go on.
Well, you will have to try them because bada bing, bada boom, check it out. We've got a first
Very cool.
exclusive on the show. We've got the Oreos right there. If you haven't had them, the only real difference here, well, I guess there's two differences. One, the one side of the cookie's got some characters on them, so you've got it depends. Actually, let me just back up here. You crack the pack, right? You either have the light side or the dark side, is what we say. Good and bad, good and evil, evil. So, and the only way you determine that is you open it up and you see either the blue cream on the inside or the red cream. I've gotten two packs, both were blue. So I mean,
So, so there's a mystery to it then.
there is a mystery to it. You open the
Oh, that's
pack
actually
and
really cool. I like
it
that.
is cool. If you see them in the store, you got to get them because
I will. Yeah.
I've wanted to get the dark side, two times. Apparently, I'm just a goody two shoes. Apparently, but you know,
Whatever works. Hey.
they got a few characters on the one side of the cookie, and then in the cream, this is where it gets crazy, right? It's not just colored; they've got kyber crystals in the cream, so you get a little, I mean, it's just sugar, but you get a little extra crunch in there. They are
Yeah.
spanking good.
That's actually hilarious. So yeah, I'm gonna have to try them then.
Boom.
There you go. First endorsement. Hopefully, Oreos, you're listening. We just endorsed you with your Star Wars cookies. So, if you want to throw a couple sponsorships our way, we won't say no.
That's Nabisco, right? That's
Yeah.
the big
Yes.
company.
No. Yeah, I think
Uh,
so.
I think so. Hey, you know what? Love the cookies. Why don't you just go ahead and send me a lifetime supply?
Yeah, that works too. That's hilarious. Yeah. Um, I see that was your excitement for the weekend. Yeah, mine was, being in Wisconsin Dells, and if you're from the Midwest, you've obviously been there at least once or twice. And we stayed at the Wilderness, and I don't know if you remember going to the Wilderness, but there's a lot of walking involved at the Wilderness because it's so damn big. But yeah, wave pools, you know, lazy rivers, can't beat it.
Now, it's been the longest time since we've been to the
Right.
Dells, and I know we stayed. I know we've stayed at the Kalahari a few times,
Yeah.
Kalahari, however the heck you say it, and I know we've stayed at the Wilderness.
Yeah.
Um, I don't remember all the walking, but I do remember some of the lazy rivers, which I think are just great.
Yeah. Oh, lazy rivers are great. So they added like a new like feature to it where they have like a little slide. So you're in the lazy river and you can go down a slide. And then you go into like a new part of the lazy river, and then they have a thing that goes up. So you go back into like the normal part of the where you came from. But the line was always so long to get back up. So I'm like, screw this. I'm just gonna take my tube and go walk up the stairs and get back.
Now, you say, now, is there a part of this lazy river that gets a little less lazy and it gets a little quicker, or is it all just pretty,
There was there was one spot of it that did get like it, you could tell the jets were really moving, but
yeah.
it wasn't anything that's like too crazy. And a couple of them had like little buckets and little water that shot out, so that was kind of nice because it wasn't super hot, but it was a nice little refreshing dip in the pool. And then obviously the indoor part of it, they had the wave pool, so. Obviously, when we got up there, we hit that up. Had a couple, brewskis and different frozen drinks. Obviously, so
Now, the wave pool, is that the thing when you're trying to like surf or whatever, and then they
oh
got
no,
the
no, no. This is just like when you're standing in the like where they add like all like waves in the middle of the pool.
oh,
Do
that
you
makes
do
sense.
you know what I'm talking about? Like where it's
Well,
just like a giant pool, and they have like a little wall, and then the waves come from the back side of the wall and it comes at you.
so they're trying to simulate the ocean, is what we're
Yeah.
going for.
Yeah, water simulate or ocean simulation basically.
Okay, all right, yeah. I mean, I would have been jumping in there. It sounds like something that people who like mosh pits would do. They'd like to be in the wave pool and just start going wild.
You know that I mean I am someone who enjoys a good mosh pit, so yeah, no, it was cool. Emmy went in there, so that was fun. She was like, we were on the outskirts of it, but splashing around, having a good time. So it was nice.
You guys got anywhere that you go to eat out there? Is there, I forget, like, wasn't there like a Moose Lodge or wasn't there like something out
Moose
there? Or
Jaw, we got
Moose
pizza there.
Jaw.
We did order a pizza there one night, so that was cool.
Yeah, I remember the Moose Jaw. I think that place was solid.
Dude, it's so funny because I haven't been. Well, I laugh because I haven't been to the Dells during summertime in probably close to about 15 years minimum, and that's pushing it. Like every time I went, it's been in the winter time, so like the
Yeah.
Kalahari, so you don't leave the premises because it's cold. So, just going and seeing like all the new stuff and just like how many of the old school motels and everything like that has been just completely taken over by Mount Olympus and just all the different little businesses. But they have a ton of food places now. I think they have a Jersey Mike's up there. I figured you'd get a kick out of that one.
No
So
way. How about
yeah.
that, huh? Mike's way.
Yes, exactly. Didn't go there though, but definitely stopped at had to get some cheese curds and like not fried cheese curds, the actual cheese curds and some venison sausage and just different type of smoky sausages. So
When you say actual cheese curds and not fried, what are we referring to here?
just like how like there's like a block of cheese or like they package like curds of cheese like basically I don't know how they do it exactly. I don't know if they just take it and kind of rip it apart and that's how the cheese curds are made. Might be something I have to look into, but yeah, just like a bag of cheese essentially.
We'll get you
Like
on that for next episode.
yeah, bite-sized cheese bites.
All right.
Uh
I mean,
but yeah,
we both love cheese. Who doesn't love
yeah,
cheese? So that's right up anyone's alley.
absolutely. Yeah, no, it was a good time. I love visiting Wisconsin, so all right. Now, did you watch any of the All Star game?
A little bit. I mean, I wanted to see once they said Skeens was the starter. I think everybody was like, okay, well, let's see what he's got, and we wanted to see him against some people. I mean, I'm sure Pittsburgh told him, hey, one inning or like three or four
Oh,
batters, and that was it. But I wanted to see him go at least the second inning.
of course. Yeah, he. That's usually how it is for the All Star game. They usually say, "Hey, only one inning," and then go. Because I know that's why I like Crochet, because he pitched pretty well too during the All Star game. But
Hmm.
that's why they had his start only go like 2 or 3 innings before the All Star game, so he could actually go and pitch. So
Yeah, it was a good game. I watched a little bit of it. I watched a decent amount of it now that I recall it. But us National Leaguers, we just can't beat you guys. It's just been years of abuse, and then we were winning, and then it whatever we do, it just. I mean, who was
well, I mean,
in? I forget who was in that gave up the three or whatever in that inning. I don't even know, but
I know
it's
Tanner Houck gave up the 3 for the American League, and then I don't know who gave it up for you guys, but I was like, I don't know if it was a surprise or not. It doesn't even matter. But I wish the All Star game, like I said on our last podcast, I wish it still meant something
yeah.
because they actually do. Like baseball is one of those sports like where you don't like you actually play it almost full speed. So kind of a shame that these guys go in there and don't try to win. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they took that away. It gives that
I
game
think
a
there's
lot
too
more
many.
meaning.
I think the owners complained about it because, like I said, if a team wins 108 games and they don't get home field advantage throughout the World Series, then but most of those teams don't even make the World Series anymore.
But how about, I mean, biggest takeaways from the game? I think, for sure you got to throw Skeens up there.
Yeah,
How about
absolutely.
Mason Miller on Oakland? I don't think he threw a fastball under 101. I don't think I saw 100
Yeah,
from him. I think it was 101, 102. He might have hit either three or four. Uh,
I think he did hit like 104 because the one I think, or it might have been his last game or last appearance. But I know someone like made contact and it was like a half contact and it went flying like 30 rows back. I'm like, oh my god.
yeah, he's
I got
Oakland.
him on, I think both of our like in both fantasy leagues. I'm pretty sure I have him just because he's incredible.
I heard his name after like the first month or so of the season, and by then he was already gone. But I was like, oh my god, like this guy's. I got a huge guy crush on this guy now. I mean, the guy's still freaking 104. This is what Oakland does all the time. They've got no money. This is why they're moving, right? Because they can't keep any of their players. They draft a few really good guys. They come up, and then after a couple of years, they're on other teams, and it's a shame because they used to be so good back in the day. But now you're at this point where they're doing the Moneyball thing. But I mean, just getting back to Mason Miller, man, his arm is just. I mean, it's spectacular.
It is. Yeah, I'm interested to see if he gets moved. I think this week is actually going to be a big week for trades. I
When
don't
is the
know.
deadline?
I thought it was like August.
Someone was saying it might have been pushed back because I think it used to be like the 1st of August or the first couple days of the
Right.
week, but I think it might have been pushed back a little bit more. So
Yeah.
it's coming up, but yeah, I would agree. I think this next week or so we'll see some moves.
July 30th.
Oh, is it really? Okay, maybe bad intel. So you're right. This is the big week. Big week.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see who gets moved. Like I said, I don't know if Crochet or Luis Robert will get moved. I know a couple teams are making offers. I know it was like the Yankees and Dodgers. Dodgers apparently wanted Crochet, Robert, and Kopech all in one deal. It's like, okay, are we just playing MLB the Show?
Yeah, how about that, huh?
I would love. I mean, I wish it. Like, see, that's the thing is like, I wish the
What do you
Sox
think
could do
you'd get for
that.
them?
I'd have to. I mean, I could pull up their prospect list, but like, that's
That
the
would be
thing is like,
fun.
I don't even know what they even look like anymore. Like who's even on the Dodgers? Like, I mean, you would have to
Yeah,
imagine they grab somebody off of their pitching staff that's hurt. That's one of their. I mean, you'd have to throw in
Dustin
Dalton
May.
Rouching, probably Jose De Paula. He's 19. River Ryan. I know that's a guy they're calling up soon. And then like you have to grab one of these catchers though, 100%. But then again, it's like I mean, I don't. You can never have too much, because you could always move a catcher to first base. But they have that Edgar Quiro guy from the Angels. They traded Giolito for.
Okay.
He's actually looked pretty good too in the minors, so he could be an interesting kind of. I think he's a switch hitter, so could be nice. But I don't even know what type of prospect haul you would expect. I wouldn't move both of them together unless you're getting MLB ready talent now. Like you're talking Bobby Miller, you're talking. I know that's a guy on the Dodgers, but they're all hurt, so we'll see.
No, I mean just for those three guys on the Sox, though. I mean, obviously they wouldn't do it, but to move all three of them in one deal, you'd probably be talking about getting like almost 10 players back. It'd have to be a monstrous deal, and
I would expect. I mean,
they'd
because
all
you
be
could get
great.
easily four for both Crochet and Robert, at least
Yeah.
four in return. I don't think Robert's going anywhere unless somebody makes him a huge offer on him. I think if anybody moves, it is Crochet. But we'll see. Yeah, back to the. I didn't watch any of the All Star game. I'll be honest, just because I don't. I paused my YouTube TV until football's back.
Mm.
But looking at it, it's just like it's nice to see some of those highlights of just like Paul Skeens, like you said, and just Otani hitting homers and stuff
Yeah.
like.
I mean, Otani, he doesn't have to do anything else to remind you that he is the best player in the game, and he's still not even
Right.
pitching yet. But
I know. It's going to be insane when he actually does come up
yeah, it's
or
going to
come back, I
be
should say.
right when he's back on the mound pitching, and then he's still hitting 40, 50, 60 homers, having years that are similar to Aaron Judge. I mean, it's silly.
Yeah. Well, I feel like since we're on the sports topic, let's just jump into the remaining, because we just touched on our, running back sleepers a couple episodes ago. I know some of mine was like McLaughlin, and I think yours was Spears. And then I also mentioned Jerome Ford for our sleepers. But I'll pass it over to you for our breakout. Who's your breakout for this upcoming fantasy season?
Well, I'm going to stick internally here. I've got one main name on here, and he had a good year last year, but it's going to be his year this year, and it's going to be Bijan Robinson, the
Oh yeah.
little Bijan mustard coming at you. I don't have his numbers in front of me. I think he was right around a top 10 running back last year, but I expect his role. I mean, everything I've been hearing from Atlanta has been we're going to do everything to get him the ball more. And why wouldn't you? I mean, he's looked like he's going to be very good. He was already good last year, but
Right.
I expect more consistency. I expect bigger games, and I expect if he was right around top 10 or so last year, I expect him to be much closer to top five, maybe even the top two or three. I so
Yeah, I mean, overall together, he rushed for over 976 yards. He had 487 receiving, 58 receptions, and then 8 total touchdowns. So, I mean, you're talking with very minimal and really a lot of bust games last year. I mean, I know
yeah.
for fantasy purposes, and I think in the playoffs he put up what 0.3 points one of the years. But
He
going
had a
back,
few games during the regular season where he definitely did not do a whole lot. They just couldn't give him the ball. So yeah, to your
right?
point, and I just feel like the consistency they're going to get him the ball a hell of a lot more. But yeah,
Yeah. So in my like in our format for a gridiron that we play in, we
hmm
do get 0.25 per touch, so attempts.
okay,
He finished at he was top 10. He finished at 10.
hmm
So no, that's a great breakout. I think with whoever their new coach is, I can't think of that. That's sleeping my name.
yeah,
Slipping my name, but I do fully expect him to break out this year. Kirk Cousins, new
hmm
scheme. They're going to use him. Everything like you said. I'm actually really interested to see how he does, and he could overtake CMC this year because CMC is going to probably continue to take more of an effective role. Uh, just like where they're going to use him in great situations, I should say.
So you're thinking this could be a little changing of the guard, huh?
This could
That could
be,
be good for me.
and we're not going to play. Oh, this guy gets hurt. We're not going to play that game. I do see Bijan if he does get the attempts, and I think if you throw 30 more catches in the like reception area, and then he
Sure.
breaks the 1,000 yard rushing, you're talking your number one consensus. If you play redraft, he should be your 1-1
You think
this
so?
year. I think he could overtake CMC. I did put out a TikTok with my little like pre-draft mock draft, and I did have CMC one, but like I had Breeze or not Breeze, Bijan number two. So
Okay.
it's a toss up. I think long term though, I mean Bijan's going to overtake
Sure.
it. And he's not he's going to get the ball and never look back as soon as he does.
That's my hope. So
I got a share. I do have one share of him too, and then I know Rich. He's got him in our dynasty league too that we're all in. So we'll
mm,
see what he ends up doing. I think this is going to be the year though that he
yeah,
really takes off, and we're getting that draft capital that we all spent it on in the
I
halls.
hope so.
So yeah, we'll see. That's a great breakout. My breakout for this year, I have two, but
Okay.
mine is Kendre Miller out of New Orleans. And the reason I have him breaking out this year is he was highly drafted last year out of TCU, and he was hurt most of the year. So he didn't really get that chance to really take that step forward and get the opportunities. And Kamara really kind of just took the bulk of the carries away, obviously with him being hurt. But I think this year, because you could see him catch, he's made multiple big catches in the small time that he was out on the field. If he does take that step forward this offseason, I could see him overtaking Kamara, or if there is like I said, injury, they could move forward with Kendre Miller. That's a guy I would buy in every dynasty league that I'm in right now and try to get him for a lower price. If you're talking a late second, I think he might actually pan out. But yeah, that's Kendre Miller out of New Orleans. Plus, he can always get that, reception upside from Derek Carr because we don't know how good his shoulder is currently.
Right. That that's another good name. I've been kind of waiting. I don't know how old Kamara is, but I just feel like he's been around because
I think
we've
he's
been hearing his name
28.
forever.
Yeah.
So
Well, he was a
he's
part
getting
of
up
that
there.
class. We'll have to have a podcast just alone on the 2017 running back class because it changed the whole landscape of fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously been one of the best pretty much ever since he broke into the league. And obviously, the reason with him, he's been kind of that Austin Eckler type guy who catches a lot of passes and does that. That's kind of your new age running back, if you will. Now, if you've got a guy, I love Derrick Henry. Okay, that type of
Oh yeah.
guy, just or like the bus back in the day, a little Jerome Bettis. Just give him the ball and he'll just run over three or four guys.
Yeah, Bettis was always a pain in the ass though for fantasy because he wouldn't get many rushing yards. It was always those dink and dunk goal line touches that he would go off and get, 30 or so points because he got four touchdowns. I remember playing that like back then too. But yeah, I mean the new age, like that's a
Yeah.
big thing too. If you even look at any dynasty running backs or anybody who top finishes in the top five usually catches at least 50 or 60
Yeah.
balls a year, and that is a big component because I know that's what helped Derrick Henry too a couple of those years. He's not just running the ball; he's catching the ball too. But yeah, I can see Kendre Miller. My other guy is Zach Moss. We saw what he did in
Mm.
Indianapolis, and now he is the new lead back for the Bengals. I know I'm going to get a lot of slack probably for that one because you know, people can bring up Alexander Madison all those years being the second fiddle behind Delvin Cook, and when he finally got those opportunities, Madison was great. Could this be the same thing for Zach Moss? Absolutely. But like I said, he's the new lead back there for the Bengals. They gave him 2 years, I think 14 mil, give or take. And he took over for JT last year and was still pretty prominent even when JT came back, even though he wasn't the starting guy. When he touched the ball, he was effective. And he did score the sixth most PPR points amongst all RBs over the first 5 weeks when he was out there. So it was around 14 points per game. So, for those players who, have a strong team and they just need that backup running back or even a guy that could just fill in as a starter, uh, you know, I would 100% go after Zach Moss as well. Nice little buy low.
You said he's the number one on the Bengals this year?
Yeah, because they do have Chase Brown, but I mean he might
Yeah.
be more of the reception guy, and you also don't go out and buy a running back like that for no reason. And we kind of saw it last year with Joe Mixon. When Burrow led the Bengals down, I felt like there were so many times where they were getting to the goal line, and then obviously they'd get stopped at the one. Chase would ball at the one, and then they'd give it to Mixon for touchdown. So
Well, and Cincinnati's offense is so good to begin with, and now Burrow's back and healthy. I just got the
yeah,
update. I don't know if it was today or the other day that he's ready to take contact or whatever. So Burrow's back, um, and
Chase has been
you
working out. Have you seen those videos? Apparently, he's been like working out this off season with their like strength and conditioning coach, and he looks yoked.
Oh, I did not know that. But I mean, just a year or two ago, we were talking about kind of like him and Justin Jefferson and maybe even Tyreek Hill as like who the best receivers are in the league, and it's a tough conversation, but I feel like a lot of people have been maybe kind of giving it to Jefferson just with the things he can do. But man, Chase, if he can get any better than he already is, I mean, now you've got a legit. I don't know. I mean, he's so good. But the Bengals, they need someone to run the ball, right?
Yep.
And with the way that offense is going to be, what's going on with T Higgins now? Is he trying to get out of there?
I mean, yeah, he demanded to get
Or are
traded,
they
but he signed
gonna?
a franchise tag, so he'll play.
So they got him for one more year.
Yeah, and then he'll be off and running. So we'll see
So
where
they
he
still
ends up.
have him and Chase. Yeah, I mean that offense is going to be great. And yeah, I mean just like you said, if you've already got another back that's better than him, that's definitely more than a solid, suitable number two for you, who you would imagine could get you 10 to 15 points a week, right?
Yeah, I mean, in a startup league or even a redraft league, that's a great late round, addition. 10th round, say last, you build your wide receiver core up. Yeah, that's another good one. Kind of a deep sleeper though. I do have that I want to mention is Bucky Irving from Tampa Bay. Uh,
Mm.
so everybody was riding Rashad White because he was a top 10 running back last season. But that was off of volume. If you look at his metrics, they were not that impressive. It's just they gave the ball to him nonstop because he finished second in rushing attempts with 272, but 14th in yards. So he only finished with 990. And he ranked 89th amongst all running backs in yards after contact per attempt, and he was 84th in missed tackles. So, I mean, if you're putting numbers together, Rashad White wasn't that effective. They went out and got Bucky Irving out of Oregon. He might be one of those guys you see kind of take that next step forward and kind of maybe eat away at White's touches. If you have White, you can try to sell him to one of those owners that might not know what they're doing. So you might be able to take advantage and get maybe at least a second or maybe late first back too.
So you're high on Bucky, eh?
If I had, I mean, I hate this running back class outside of Jonathan Brooks, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm higher on Bucky than I am White, just because of how effective Irving is compared to White.
What about just real quick? What about that other kid that what was his name? Trey Benson. Yeah, I think he had like the same size and build as Brooks. I think he's
Yeah,
faster than Brooks too.
I like Benson a lot. I like he played at Florida State. I think people are going to overdraft him because
Hmm.
they see Connor always either is getting hurt. But Connor was like he had one of his best fantasy seasons last year. I don't think that's changing. If he's on the field, he's going to be the number one back. Benson might be a good long term ad, but he's going to have to
Hmm.
sit at least this year. So if you're trying to win this year, it's another good buy low would be James Connor, John Connor. I always mess it up, but I think it's James.
James,
But
yeah.
yeah, good. He'd be a good buy. Benson, if you want to take a late flyer on, um, but if I'm selling him, if I have him and I know somebody really wants him, I'll absolutely take advantage of that one.
Okay, all right, good to know.
All right. Now, moving into the bust category, who do you have bust in this year?
Busting. Why don't you start with the busting? I have to.
Okay.
Who did I have for my
Mine
bust?
is
Yeah.
Brian Robinson out of Washington, strictly on the fact that
Oh.
they brought in Eckler for a reason. That was kind of another similar situation to Rashad White, where he got a lot of volume from Sam Howell. So that could be why Brian Robinson would be one of those guys that I can see kind of taking that next, step backwards. And like I said, Eckler, like you touched on earlier, catches a lot of balls. So he'll be effective, and I think having, at Eckler's age, and given the circumstances of that having a new quarterback, I think that's going to be just kind of a mess, for what Brian Robinson did last year.
Yeah, I could see that, especially with the addition of Eckler. Yeah, I mean, you don't go out and add a guy like Eckler not to, not to use him. He's definitely going to take a lot away from Robinson. And I mean, what have we really seen from Robinson? I mean, we've seen some.
Nothing. He's
Uh,
slow. If you ever watch it, looks like he's running through sand. So, you know, he's not very great. I mean, he's not that great, I don't think. And then, do you know what's this is another unpopular opinion I'm going to take too. I want nothing to do with Miami's running back situations. They have Mostert still there. I think Devin Achane. I mean, he's great, and he's if you look at the numbers, he put up like some of the best metrics last
he
season
did.
for what he did touch. Uh, I think he's like he's another bust based off of the draft position too. Is you're taking him really early in a three-headed like potential three-headed running back room because you never know what McDaniels is going to do because he comes from a Shanahan offense, so they love to rotate their backs except for with CMC.
Yeah, honestly, you just kind of stole mine because I was going to kind of say because for lack of trying to find one guy, I was going to say, obviously, with some of those guys, they just drafted this Jalen Wright kid. So, I mean, he's probably going to take some touches. I've
Yeah,
heard the rumor that they want him to take some touches to kind of weaken the load on Mostert and Achan, so they don't because they both have their injury
yeah,
woes, and I think Mostert's a little bit older. So, just like you said, you draft any of those, mainly either of those main two. We'll see how many touches Wright gets, but um, mainly either of those two. They both can have really big weeks when they're healthy, but I think health is going to be a bit of a factor in there as well. Especially for the NFL, you have to take health into account. And if you've got people who are hurt all the time, that's you got to try to steer clear of those guys because I've been
yeah.
there before where you take someone and you're like, man, getting him at this round is still good value, but you take a chance on him, whoever it may be, and then by week 4 or whatever. I mean, what about Darren Waller the last couple of years? I mean, that dude, not only was he
He was
hurt,
a
but then he did
one hit
freaking
wonder.
nothing. Yeah, well, yeah, we know.
Well, we see how Dan plays fantasy, so I'm not really shocked in that one. So we'll see
We're
how.
getting we're getting better.
Yeah, honestly the draft picks you made in Dynasty so far the first year in our league too that we're in together. I thought you did great with your picks. Little tip of the cap here for you. All your players you picked are solid. We'll see what the in season management looks like for you. But yeah, I mean, would I be surprised if Achan is going to be a top 5 back? I would not be shocked. I think a lot
No.
has to go right just because of the volume of, you still got Tyreek there. You got Jalen Waddle there. They're going to throw the ball quite a bit. And I don't know. There's just something that rubs me the wrong way with Achan that maybe it's just all the hype around him where everyone's taking him so high. And then, like you said, Mostert's still there. So the mustard man.
Mostert, the mustard man, and then yeah, we'll see what Jalen Wright does. I don't know. We'll see. He's going to get a few touches this year, so he does a little something. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's touching running backs. Anything else you want to hit on before we close out on running backs?
I think you hit the nail on the head with those.
Perfect. All right. Moving into the highly anticipated, segment of the show, our little Mount Rushmore of TV shows.
What This is a good segment. Let's just go ahead and start there. Um, Everybody likes TV shows, movies. I mean, if you're somebody who doesn't watch TV, you either live under a rock or you're one of those cavemen from the Geico commercials, and they haven't seen that, so they wouldn't get the reference. But um, it's just you get home from a long day of work. You do your duties, whatever you got to do, and then it's nice to sit down and unwind a little bit, right? Maybe whatever you fancy. Maybe you crack open a Bush Light if you're one of those people. Maybe you. I'm just saying for the Bush Light drinkers. I'm not. That's not me. There's I'm getting there. You want to crack open a bottle of wine, whatever tickles your fancy. I'm more of a tequila guy. I do like my wines, but TV shows. This is This
Do you
is a
want to go
good one.
first, or do you want me to go first?
No, no, no. I want you to go first. I want to hear. Now, is this, these are just any TV show? This could be cartoons. These could be comedies. These could be dramas.
So it's funny you mentioned that. So we're just gonna do any of them. So don't feel pressured to do animated or anything. But if you have it on your list, I also did something similar with it, where I did pick like some reality. I did do. I'm all over the place with mine. So feel free, whatever tickles
Awesome.
your fancy. But I'm going to lead us off with the. This is the one and one. This is your CMC of the draft. We're going with The Sopranos. You cannot pick a better TV show than The Sopranos. you know, Tony Soprano, the best, Christopher, just, Paulie Walnuts. And obviously, it helps that we kind of stole the Gabagools because Tony Soprano loves that deli meat. So, we had
Where's
to
the
leave it up.
gabagool?
I'm really hoping I stole that from you, too. I'm sure it was on your list.
It certainly was. It certainly was. I don't know if you saw me. I was going down with the old blue and doing a quick little check there, but yeah, it's a great one. It's a great show. It's up there with the. It literally is the Mount Rushmore. It's got to be up there. Man, that was a good pick. I got to go with 1-1 for me. I got to go with The Office.
Wow. Highly anticipated Office. Okay, good one.
Highly anticipated. I'm a big comedy guy. I like everything I mentioned, but I like a good comedy. After a long day of work or just after whatever. I like to laugh. So that show for me, it's silly, but it's and especially the first 7 seasons. The first couple are just great, but
I'd
yeah,
argue seasons 1 through 4 are the best of The Office. I could binge those all the time. I honestly stopped watching after Michael leaves.
yeah.
That's where I kind of tune out. But that's a great bingeable show. You could throw it on TV. You could do laundry. You could kind of have it in the background, have a couple laughs. So that's a good one.
Are you doing the next one, or are we doing I do two and then
You
you do? Okay,
snake.
alrighty. Snake it up. All right, then for the next one, I have to go with SpongeBob. I gotta do.
SpongeBob.
I
Interesting.
gotta do another comedy. If people didn't know, the show started in '99. This is a pre-2000s show. That's a fact. And the first
Yeah.
couple seasons, I mean, I'm not talking about every season of SpongeBob, but the first couple seasons, there are so many good, quotable, just
Oh yeah.
relatable kind of, I don't know, just scenes, scenarios, situations, what have you. Um, I can watch that show nonstop. I'm a kid at heart, and that show for me is like, I still quote it today.
That's hilarious. Yeah, SpongeBob. I remember watching it growing up too. The Krusty Krab pizza episode. I think that was like their first episode too. Is they just went out and did. I think it was like because they did 2 parts per episode, right? They did like a 15, a 5 to 6 minute one, and then they did the second half, right?
Yeah, they had usually 2 episodes per like 30 minutes. I think the first one might have had three. The first one, the very first one was when they've got the help wanted sign on the door. SpongeBob's running up. Squidward sees him and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Krabs, like I live next to this guy. Like don't give him a job. This is terrible." And Mr. Krabs sends him out to go get some crazy spatula, and he comes back and saves the day when the Krusty Krab is flooded with what seems like thousands of stinky sardines. It's great.
There you go. All right. Those are good ones. Uh, Next one, I'm gonna once again take this one. I'm gonna just chalk it up that I'm gonna win this one. We could put it for a poll for the viewers here, but I'm taking Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Can't beat a little Walter White, Jesse Pinkman. A lot of quotable, that's a lot of quotable ones, and then just overall, like I think every episode uh, is just well written and just well played out. The way it ended was perfect as well. I forgot to mention that on The Sopranos with one of the best endings ever because you just don't know whatever ends up happening. But Breaking Bad, just solid show, top to bottom. Um, Yeah, I don't know any better shows than that one, to be honest. I think that would be my number one, to be honest, if it wasn't for The Sopranos. And then on the turn, I'm going with Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think that show's hilarious.
Mm, damn. Yeah,
I love
that's
that one of those
that.
ones too. The early seasons, so many of those things would be
Yeah,
canceled now, and I think that's what
yeah.
makes it so much better. Same with The Office, though. But yeah, sticking on the comedy theme, got to go with the Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That was like that one for me could almost be 1-1 too.
Yeah,
I love
such a
Sunny, dude.
great show.
Oh,
Such a
dude.
great show. All
Um,
right, hit me with
I'm
your last
going.
two.
I'm gonna hit you with two really good ones here. I'm gonna stick with. Oh man. All right. We'll all right. We're gonna do these two. I gotta stick a drama in there, so we're gonna throw The Wire in there. If you've
Okay,
seen The Wire,
I have not seen it, so it's on my list to watch. But I figured that was going to be on my honorable mentions, even though I haven't seen it. But
that one is really really good. Oh man. You know what? This is shoot. You know what? Okay. For the last one, I just realized this. I got to go with. I was going to do another comedy. I got to go with Peaky Blinders, though.
oh, good, that was on my list as well. I'm glad you took them because I didn't want to have to take them.
I started watching Peaky Blinders. Fun fact: when I was still in high school, graduated in 2014. For all the people out there, I'm getting old, I know, but um, they had this show on way back in the day. Then they had like a couple years where they were still filming, or they had a little hiatus, and then it wrapped up a couple years ago. So I mean, they only had like 5 or 6 seasons, but man, that show when I first started watching it, the first season or two, I was so hooked. I was like a fish hook in my mouth. I mean, I was basically like, fillet me, throw me on the plate. I'm hooked.
Absolutely, that's a great pick, man. I do like some Peaky fucking Blinders. Um, just another well written show, and I feel like the way that ended too was pretty good too. So another one that's top to bottom pretty good. Um, this one's tough. I have to decide where I want to go with this for my last one. Um, should I go with a reality game like TV show, or do I go with a normal show? That's the
I
tough
don't.
part.
That's the tough part.
For me, I'm gonna go with the chalk. I'm just gonna keep it chalky. I'm gonna go with Game of Thrones. I do enjoy Game of Thrones, even though the last season it sucked. Um, but overall, love my Game of Thrones. Love you know, I read a couple of those books, so yeah, it's just great show overall.
I'm probably one of the only people that hasn't seen that one yet, and now they have that new one that's
House of the
out.
Dragon. Yep.
So,
So yeah. All right, I'll hit my honorable mention real quick too. I got MTV's The Challenge because I'm a big reality game show person. So like the Big
interesting.
Brother. Yeah, love. I'm a big Johnny Bananas fan, so you got to go with the goat there. He's got 7 of those wins. So, my other honorable mention, Bar Rescue. Perfect little Sunday.
Oh,
You're
God,
sitting
that
hungover.
one?
Yeah, yeah, you're hungover, stuck in the couch, and nothing better than seeing John Taffer just like lay into someone about how dirty their kitchen or bar is.
Oh my God. Do you have any other honorable mentions? Because I have like five.
I have quite a few. Yeah,
Run. Okay.
Band of Brothers, The Boys.
I don't know if I know that one.
It's on Amazon Prime. That's another one. And then you have to throw Friday Night Lights. That's another one on there. And
Okay.
then
Yep.
obviously Friends. Friends, you have to make an honorable mention.
Okay. Alrighty. Um, couple of other good ones in there. Um, I've got to throw Two and a Half Men in there.
Yes,
If you've
that's a
seen
good
that
one.
one, man,
Of course,
I
of
mean,
course. Up until Charlie leaves.
up until he had the tiger blood, but Two and a Half Men, Modern Family for me,
Yeah,
another
Modern Family.
comedy. Love that
Yeah.
one. Reno 911. I got to
Yeah.
throw that one in there. That show's
Futurama.
hilarious.
Do you watch Futurama at all?
So, I mean, I haven't seen every episode, but I've seen a lot of them late night, and that's another great show.
Yeah. Oh, and this one I have to mention it for Allie. I have to mention this one, Family Guy.
Oh, of course. That one's
Family
great.
Guy and American Dad. That's like our go-to night show. Like you have to wind down, have a little comedy. So
Those are all great. And then what else did I want to say? I just wanted to throw Where is it? Key and Peele. Got to throw a little Key and Peele in there too. Their skits get me.
Peel? I don't even know what that is.
You haven't seen Key and Peele?
No, I actually don't even know
Oh,
what you're saying. I have to put subtitles on. Is it Key and
uh,
Peel? Like a peel, like
Key.
you're peeling an orange?
Yes, key like a key for a house.
Yeah,
KEY
yeah.
and or the little and symbol. Peel like PEELE. There's an E on the end. Three E's. Um, Two guys. You've probably seen them. Two comedians. They just do. It's a skit show. It's great.
There you go. Yeah, never seen it.
Also, also, let me throw this one in there. Hot Ones. If you've seen anything from Hot Ones with Sean
Oh
Evans
yeah, yeah, yeah. That with
with the
the celebrities
wings,
eating the wings.
I
Yeah,
love that. I love that.
A lot of good clips out of those too.
And since you brought up the food, I'm just throwing the whole network on there, the Food Network. Okay, you
Oh
can
yeah,
throw the Food Network on there. You watch the Food Network for 2 hours. Not only do you get a bunch of ideas, but you get hungry even if you just ate.
I know, I know. That's why you always have to eat it while you're eating dinner, so then you're not hungry.
There you go.
But yeah, love it. I think that's all of them for me.
I love
Uh,
how I put the Food Network on there for favorite Mount Rushmore of TV shows. But you know what though? It
It's an
just
honorable mention. It's not on your actual Rushmore, so it's okay.
it's not up there, but it's like on like the back burner, if you will.
Yeah, it's like it's on your starting nine. We'll put that. Your
I
starting
like that.
nine.
That's good.
So that's a good yeah. Yeah, that's tough. It's tough to follow up with any of those, but TV. It's one of those things. You just gotta. There's actually people who don't watch TV. It's just and like you said, cavemen. But there's people who just like no, I don't watch TV.
Yeah, they probably go home and play their violin or do whatever. But hey,
Smarter than us. They're not podcasting about TV shows. That's for sure.
yeah, you could say that again.
Probably don't play in like 9 fantasy leagues either. So there you go on that.
Maybe we know something they don't.
Yeah, or they know something we don't.
Yeah, well, it probably
Glass
looks
half
more like
empty,
that.
half full.
Yeah,
I think it's half empty. I never say it's
mine.
half full. Like that's half empty.
I would say half empty. Yeah, I mean, I'd like a little more water in here, wouldn't you?
Of course, who wouldn't? All right. Any closing arguments? Anything? I know the Olympics are starting. I did see that LeBron is carrying the flag, which I think is nice because it's his last one for sure. So
Are they starting today?
I
Is
don't
it
know if the opening
Wednesday?
ceremonies are today. I know that the USA, I think, might be playing right now against Germany.
Oh,
But I know like the
interesting.
opening ceremonies are soon.
Okay. Yeah, we've been seeing commercials for the Olympics for months, and it's like, okay, now they're finally here, and I have no idea when they start. So, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to get on that. I got to see Simone. We got to see Simone do her thing, right?
Yeah, the goat.
Matt
You know what sucks too is we don't have any more Michael Phelps. We have Katie Ledecky though. So
Phelps was the man. I mean, I don't know how crazy people get with the Olympics. I'm not a crazy nut, but when he was on, that was one thing where it's like, all right, you know what? Whether I was eating dinner, taking a dump, didn't matter. Had to run out, had to watch him do his thing for a minute and a half.
yeah, yeah. I watched a video recently of him talking because somebody was talking shit about like beating USA and how when someone does, they're happy not to hear the Star Spangled Banner or whatever. And they showed him the clip, and you could just see it. It was like the like Michael Jordan part of it, like that goat mentality where it's like, what did he say? Or did you ever see that Tom Brady clip too? Where he had to like hype himself up and he's like, what did he say? Who is this guy? And he would go out there and like purposely like go after that guy. Jordan did it too. If you watch The Last Dance.
Jordan, I think, was kind of known for doing that. I didn't know Brady did any of that.
Oh, Brady did that too. Yeah, I'll have to send you the clip. It's pretty good. Like he talks about it at like a conference about just like what would hype him up. So
Hmm. Well, I guess that makes sense. He won how many Super Bowls?
It's a goat mentality, man. I mean,
Certainly
you
is.
go through it. You go Phelps. You go. We'll do our Mount Rushmore of goats.
That'll be another one.
Yeah,
Let me write that down.
yeah. Go ahead and write that one down. So we'll have to make sure we have Rich on the podcast for that one, so we could cover a bunch of them, so all the goats get their dues.
Yeah, we need 4 bags.
Yeah, 4 bags. That's not he's lagging.
Come on, 4 bags.
Unbelievable. A little shout out for you at the end of this podcast. But yeah. Yeah, Olympics going on, MLB trade deadline. We'll touch on some of those trades once we get the chance to. So other than that, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Signing off.